Good day and welcome to my channel. This is the season of groundnuts. If you are into groundnut business or thinking of venturing into the business, then watch this video to the end, because in this video I will teach you on how to roast groundnuts to be crunchy, how to package, and also how to calculate your cost and your profit. Believe me, groundnut business is a profitable one if you know your way around it, and that is one of the things that you are going to learn in this video. So stay tuned. Also, this is the best time for you to buy and store your groundnut if you're into this business, because once groundnut is out of season, the price will go up again. So you can buy now and store, so that even if the price goes up later, you can still make as much profit as possible from this business. So for this tutorial, we are using 4 cups of raw groundnuts, which I just poured into the bowl now. Then the next thing for you to do is to make sure you pick out all the bad ones. Make sure you pick out the bad ones so that your customers will not buy bad groundnut. They will not. One trick to make you succeed in any business is for you to give your customers the best. When you are buying groundnut, you make sure you go for the best. When you enter the market, you see different varieties of groundnut. Make sure you are going for the best so that your customers will keep coming back to you. But when you buy the one that is of cheap price and that is not that good, you see your customers will not be consistent. You will not have returning customers. So for you to have returning customers is for you to give them the best, and you will find out that you will still succeed and make profit from what you are doing because your customers keep coming back. So to proceed with this tutorial, I added 1 tablespoon of salt to the groundnut, then followed by hot water. Then you just turn it together. This process allows the salt to penetrate the shell and also to prevent the granules from burning too quickly. It also gives it a very crunchy result, so do not skip this process. So you allow it to soak in the water for 10, 15, 20 minutes before you drain out the water. Then after draining out the water, you just spread on a tray and allow it to dry. You make sure that you allow it to dry completely, because one of the reasons why your groundnut comes out soft and not crunchy after roasting is when you don't allow it to dry completely. So you make sure that when you spread, when you soak and drain the water, you make sure that it dries completely before you roast for a crunchy groundnut. So the groundnut has completely dried here. You can see how dry it's looking. And to know that your groundnut is completely dry, when you touch it, you see the shell is coming out. It's peeling quickly. Then you know that your the groundnut is dry. So once it's dry like that, we proceed to roast. And the first thing you do is there are many methods of roasting groundnut. You can use the sand method or this method of using gari. This is my best method because I don't have to fear whether there will be sand in the groundnut, or sometimes the groundnut will break open, like it will be divided into two, and if you are not careful you can get some sand trapped into it. But nevertheless, you can still use it because that's the oldest method, and that's the cheapest method. Though you don't have to buy anything to roast groundnut, but for me I prefer this method of using gari because it's not too expensive though, and it keeps me on the safe side. Another thing to take note of when roasting groundnut is the temperature of your heat, because if your heat is too much, the outside will burn before the inside even cook. That is why we are supposed to use low heat or medium heat and also stir consistently. So one thing to take note of, or one thing to have when post roasting groundnuts, is patience. You have to be very patient when roasting groundnuts, and make sure you turn it consistently, because when you leave it, it will burn. So you have to exercise a lot of patience when you are roasting groundnuts. Another thing that makes your groundnuts not to be crunchy is overcrowding the pan or tray or your pot, whatever it is you're using in roasting your groundnuts. When you overcrowd the pan, the groundnuts will not, there will not be space for them to roast properly, thereby making your groundnut to be soft. I am frying on my gas because of the quantity of the groundnut. You know, the groundnut is not much. I'm just using 4 cups. Sometimes I fry like 2 or 3 noodles, and I use my bigger pan, and also I don't fry it on my gas. I use charcoal. You can use charcoal of 200 naira to fry like 3, 4, or 5 noodles depending on how you do it. Do you understand? Same goes for my garri. I can use one garri twice and I will still come out with a perfectly crunchy groundnut. Another thing to increase your profit margin is when you buy in bulk, buying in large quantity. Like, instead of just buying one mudu, you can just buy like a quarter bag of groundnut or half bag of groundnuts. That way you get, more profit from that, because the place you are going to buy 1 mudu, 2 mudus and 3 mudus from, they also bought maybe like the bag or half bag to make profit. So that profit they are supposed to make, when you buy the bag or half bag, you make that profit to be added to your own gain. I don't know if you understand. So it's very, very much profitable when you buy in bulk. You can see the patient I was talking about, right? We are still stirring. So you just continue, stirring continuously like this, so that it will not burn. So I'm just trying to check if it's ready, but you can see the peel is not coming out easily. That means it's not ready. We still keep, stirring continuously because the heat is low. You can see now, right? I left it for just few minutes and see, it's burning already. So we just, fetch some and check again if it's ready. Yeah, you can see the peel is coming out easily now. It's removing very easy. At this point, your groundnut is roasted, is ready. If you choose to bring it down at this point, then you have a very crunchy groundnut because it's ready. But I just want to get that, there's this golden brown color I used to like. I don't usually like my groundnut white. So that's why I'm just going to leave it for a few more minutes on the fire, so that it will give me that light, golden color. Okay, here is it. I think I'm there now. I don't know if my camera is doing justice to this. This is exactly how I want my groundnut to be, to have that golden color. And now it's ready, and I'm going to just, bring it down from the fire and pour in a sieve. So you pour it in a sieve to let out the garri, so that you'll be left with the groundnut in the sieve. Mind you, this garri I'm saving out, I'm not going to throw it away. I'm going to keep it for my next production. I'm going to use it for my next production. And that is one of the reasons why you shouldn't roast on a high heat. When you roast on a high heat, a gari will burn too much as well as your groundnuts. But in this case, you can see the gari is not too burnt. It's just changed from its normal color. So I'm going to use it again for my next production. That's to say, in the next production, that's if you are producing exactly the same quantity, you don't need to buy. You're not buying any gari again for your next production, which is a reduction in the cost. So here is the groundnut properly roasted. So you just go ahead and pour it on a tray so that it will cool. You can put it under fan and allow it so that it will speed the cooling process. And at this point, don't expect it to be exactly crunchy. Allow it to cool completely. That is when you get that crunchiness that you're looking for. And trust me, if you follow this method, the procedure from the beginning to the end of this video, you're not going to get anything wrong. Just going to roast the perfect groundnut always if you follow this process exactly the way it is. And also everything that I have said about roasting groundnuts. So at this point you can see that it is cooled completely now and the shell is coming out very easy. It has completely cooled. So it's now time for us to, this is where I feel the work really is. But to me, I've gotten used to it, so it doesn't take much of my time. But some people might still find this process difficult. That's removing the peel. So you just carefully remove the peel so that you will not break the granite, because some people don't like broken granules. They want the granite whole. So if you have such customers, or in fact it's even more beautiful when the granite is not broken. If you're still watching this tutorial, please like this video and also support my channel by subscribing. Share this video to your loved ones, you might be helping somebody, and also turn on your notifications so that whenever I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thank you. And to my existing subscribers, thank you for supporting me. I appreciate. God bless you. Okay, so I think it's time for us to start calculating our cost. This granite I used, though I had granite at home, but I intentionally did not use the one I have at home. So I went to buy this one and I bought this particular 4 cups, which is like half mudu, for 900 naira. Yes. And believe me, when you are buying in bulk, maybe you bought a mudu or more than, or even in bag, the cost will not be up to that. But for this tutorial, I bought this 900 naira for the groundnuts. Then what else did we use again? Gari. The gari I used is just 1.5 cup of gari. A cup of gari here is 100 naira. So 1.5 cup should be 150, right? So 150 plus 900, that's 1050 naira. What else did we use? The salt. How much is a table of salt? It's a tablespoon of salt. Okay, let's just say 50 naira, right? So 1050 naira plus 50 naira is 1100, right? Okay, so 1100. Let's stop at that first. This leather here that I'm using, that I'm going to use to package, I bought it for 300 naira. And inside of this, let's count, I just brought one out now and I'm having 4 pieces of leather inside one. That is, there are 3 leathers inside, then the one they put it inside, that's 4. Now let's see this one too, if it's the same thing. Okay, this one also is the same thing. The 3 inside plus the one they put it inside, that's another 4. Okay, so let's now count the total. That's, we have 8 in the group of 4 inside the leader. Now this is 3, 4, 5, So we have 5 here, right? Then this is 6, 7, we have 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Yes, this is the 15th one. Now this means we have group of 4 leaders last in the group of 4 in 15 places. That's 4 times 15, that is 60. That's we have a total of 60 piece of leather in this particular um one that I bought for 300 naira. 60, so there are 60 pieces of leather inside this one, and I bought it for 300 naira. So when you are dividing 300 divided by 60, we are going to get 5 naira. So for one of that leather, we bought one of that leather for 5 naira. I don't know if you are getting it. So this is what I'm using to sell. This is half cup. This is my half cup, and you see I did not really full the half cup. It's not up to the mouth of the cup, just somewhere close but not really full, as you can see. So I'm using that half cup now. I'm pouring it into the leather, and that's the one that I sell for 200 naira. Then the other cup there is my quarter cup, and I'll also put it just the way I leveled the half cup. That's the exact way I'll put it in the quarter cup, and that one for quarter cup is 100 naira. So this is the one for the half cup, which I sell for 200 naira, and this is it. You can see how beautiful it is, right? Yes. And this other one in the quarter cup, that's your measuring cup, the quarter cup, that is what I'm using now. And the first one I use is the half cup, which is the 125 ml. Yeah, so you can see how I level this. Some people might think, okay, I think the 100 naira one is better, but when you look at it, it's the same. If you buy the 100 naira one or the 200 naira, it's the same, because I just measured 2 of that quarter cup now inside the half cup, and this is what is giving me, and that's the one that I sell for 200 naira. So whichever one your customer is buying, they'll still get the same value for their money. So this is the 200 naira one that I'm pouring inside the leather now, and you will see that the difference is, there is no even difference, because it's the same thing. Even if you decide to use a scale, you still get like almost the same results. Okay, so this is that's for 100 naira. You can see how it is. This one is 100 naira, while the other one is 200 naira. Looking beautiful in the leather too, so you can see the difference. So, and in case somebody is asking, what about the transport cost? You transported to maybe to the market to get your groundnut, or I did not. There was no transport cost involved in this particular production. The reason why I tie the 100 naira most times, mostly because it is quite affordable. Even children can buy that of 100 naira. So I was able to tie 100 naira on 10, and the 200 naira on 5 from 4 cups of groundnut. So this is what I got: 5 of this 200 naira on and 10 100 naira on. So when you sell, you are going to get 2,000 naira. So we were calculating, and we got 1,100 for our cost the other time. So when you include the cost of the leather now, so the total number of leather we have used here is 15, and we calculated earlier that the leather is 5 naira per one, right? So 5 naira times 15, now that's 75 naira. When you add 75 naira to the initial 1,100 that we got, that's 1,175 naira. Then I told you that it's just because it's for this tutorial purpose, and also because the groundnut is in small quantity. That was why I used my gas to roast. If not, it's charcoal. So when you're using charcoal, the added cost will just be 100 naira or 200 naira, as opposed to when you're using gas. You can also decide to package in bottles like this. This one is even more profitable because I think a bottle of this goes for 3,000 and above depending on your location. Please support my channel by subscribing, like this video and share. Thank you.